Hey, what is up, humans? It's your favorite demon, Raze Silva, and we are back with another reaction video. So we have another Depressed Nousagi video. We haven't done one of these in a while, actually. Uh, uh, I don't think we've done one of these since my first reaction video that I did. So this ought to be fun. Um, but this is how mental illness became cute and sexy. Uh, this ought to be interesting. This is, I think, the Menhera. This is Menhera's, I believe, at least from the thumbnail that cannot be seen, I've clicked on the video. But anyway, original video will be in the description as always. So let's jump into it.
Disclaimer, as there might be some people who will find this insensitive to people with actual mental illness, please note that this is just a video exploring the internet phenomenon, specifically in the weeb community. Mental illness is obviously a serious issue that must be taken seriously, so if you are sensitive to this topic, please keep this in mind as we go along the video or skip the video entirely. With that being said, let's begin. This is Ame-chan, the central character of the game Needy Streamer Overload. She is a girl with all sorts of internal and external issues. She doesn't have work and she's going to be evicted in a month. She is depressed and craves social validation. She is insecure, has no standards or ethics, only hell-bent on getting popular so she doesn't get evicted. Like Tinkerbell, she needs attention or else she will die. This is Kenjo, a positive figurehead in the internet, a beacon of light in this dark and toxic cesspit that we call social media. Someone who is selfless, promotes good health and positivity, someone who can do no wrong, and someone who will support you if no one else will. Unless, of course, if you treat her bad. Ame-chan and Kenjel are actually the same person. Ame-chan and Kenjel are extremely attractive to certain people. This is Shiori, a VTuber from top VTuber agency Hololive. She is a VTuber that many people would call girlfriend material.
Hot big titty goth GF. I love Shiori's design though. Shiori, I think, has a very I like the design for Shiori.
She is goofy, she likes all sort of things, she reads books, she's more cultured than a lot of people liken themselves to be. She is familiar with the internet, and she's this comfy goofball that just wants to have fun. But when she got announced with this design, certain demographics brainwashed themselves into thinking this was her actual design. And when it turned out she wasn't,
Yeah. I
as mentally deranged as her design implied she would be, they reacted by shouting, Regardless, people who stuck to Shiori realized that she is actually peculiar in her own way, goofy, and still fitting with the goth, e-girl, nerdy GF that her character design made people think. Shiori is extremely attractive. There's one more person I'd like to introduce. Well, multiple people, actually. And the reason
Okay. I know I'm blocking this right side. I'm sorry for that. Fucking we got Misa from Death Note. I know this green haired girl is from shit, what is the name of I know what she's from. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the anime. I don't know who these two are. And of course we have Toga from My Hero, and you know who. Where do I even begin with Yuno? That it's word of advice to everybody: if you have a Yuno in your life, run.
list all of these, including those in the collage, is because these examples make up the three core types of menheras that Yukari Seko and Minako Kokichi in their 2022 paper titled Mentally Ill and Cute as Hell. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about menheras.
You like this, don't you?
Nope. Oh, no, definitely no.
But before we continue, let me introduce Honkai Star Rail. Legit, one of the most compelling, highly produced games of all time. Hoyoverse just don't miss, honestly. Their games...
That's a false statement. I think Genshin Impact was a big miss. You know, very hot take. I do think they very much missed with Genshin Impact.
Just end up getting awards like the best game of the year award on the App Store, and Star Rail is no different.
Star
You
Rail
are the
is
trailblazer, a trash panda with a baseball bat meant to explore the cosmos and meet a lot of interesting characters along the way, with more than 30 of them being playable and extremely fucking gorgeous. And this year, Star Rail is celebrating its first anniversary, and that means you are getting yourself free pools and a lot of events to get even more pools. Right now, they have also perhaps the most compelling update since Bellabog. Penacony is a gorgeous map with very unique 1913.
I think the only character who I'm missing in Star Rail that I actually really want is well, two really. I need Well and Seele. Those are the only two I don't have. Mostly Seele. Just I like Seele. Okay, I have everybody else.
Cartoon aesthetic.
That I want.
You're gonna love this update, I swear. But that's not all because, and I'm not exaggerating, one of their most interesting characters just dropped in the gacha, and it's basically the best time to play, honestly. Acheron is a mysterious and cold swordsman.
Acheron is so broken, and I love her. She is permanently on my team. She does not give a shit about what your weakness is.
It was the coolest ult in the game so far. There's also Aventurine, a finance bro. But if a finance bro was sexy and actually is generous and will look out for you by giving you shields. Again, because they just released a new update and it's their anniversary, there's tons upon tons of rewards for you to go. Free content, free rolls, free rolls, free rolls, and even more free rolls. And you know what else will get you free rolls? By downloading the game in the description and using these redemption codes for Acheron and Aventurine's launch dates. And I'm not kidding when I say that this game is that good. It's deeper,
It really
and more
is.
complex than its trailers and gameplay betrays. So again, please check the game out. Ad over. First of all, what is a Minhera anyway? Well, I mean, if you are already watching this video and follow my channel, you most likely know what it is. But to the uninitiated,
Come on, we all know what the Manhera is. We all know, unless you're like brand new to the anime and VTuber scene. You know, we know what a Manhera is.
it's basically a mentally ill person. But the term has an interesting origin that involves 2chan, but it's a term that no longer applies now. Because recently, the internet has pushed beyond that original definition and has added a little bit of extra, making it a bit more broader. Now, it's gotten so big that it's become an aesthetic, a vibe. It doesn't have the same serious connotation that it used to, at least not that much. The concept of a Menhera is now associated with cute or sexiness a lot of the time. Now, the definition pretty much includes all sorts of derangement, edginess, frequent leaks of intrusive thought, or anything that's quirky. Hell, even a certain fashion sense. Because of this, it's important to actually differentiate all these types of Menheras and categorize them. Again, the paper published by Seko in Kokichi has already given us a lot of great work to start with, so let's begin with that. According to the paper, and with recent observations, there are 3 types of major Menhera tropes: the sad girl, the mad woman, and the cutie. We will be covering subtropes that
I don't know about the third one. Honestly, I think the sad girl you see sometimes. I feel like a lot of Menheras are the second one here, right? Like, this is where the majority of them are, I think.
fall under these 3 major categories, so don't you worry, we have a lot of material to work with. The sad girl, as you might guess, is a girl that's sad. No, seriously, the sad girl is somebody who struggles with anxiety, low self-esteem, hopelessness, and loneliness. But you might ask yourself, what is so cute and attractive about this? Well, this is a trope that's very common in media, where either a depressed woman or a depressed person is saved by the hero or heroine. A forlorn, beautiful girl who never gets anything she wants, stuck inside her mind, bullied for the longest time, longingly wishing for that one person to look at her and treat her like a human being. In short, it appeals to people's sense of ego or even people who wish to find shared vulnerability. Both stable and unstable men will come to like the sad girl, with the former having their masculine protective instincts coming in to wish to help and fix them, and the latter having somebody they can relate to and hopefully lick each other's wound. And a big reason why this archetype has been peddled around by women who relate to the sad girl and men who like the sad girl is this interesting little character over here. This is Kurumi, otherwise known known as Menhera-chan to a lot of people. And stickers of her got popular in line, and now emotes of her
Do not actually know who this character is.
are used by an ungodly amount of Discord kitten. Menhera-chan started off as a diary of sorts by the author on her little personal website until she received help from an editor to turn it into an actual manga. And the quality of the manga is subjective in terms of quality, and some of it might even come across as disturbingly insensitive to actual mental health issues, but the aesthetic and the quirkiness of the character immortalized Kurumi-chan into the weeb culture icon that she is now. The lore behind it is pretty
Okay.
sad though. The author got bullied in school and socially withdrew. Again, Kurumi-chan was a diary or autobiography of sorts of the author. So whatever feelings that this girl goes through in the manga and in the original text is also the same kind of feelings that the author went through. And she was around 14 years old when all of this was made. The sad girl's suffering is the suffering of existence itself. If you ever sat in a corner or on a table, perhaps holding a pillow or staring into the ceiling, wishing that you were dead and that there is no point in living, you stopped
Everybody. Literally everybody who's ever been alive ever.
resisting those thoughts and fighting for anything that's worth it in life. You've admitted defeat to the cold universe's relentless assault against anything that makes you happy. There's nothing more for you in the future. You've justified isolating yourself by saying that the world is gonna end anyway. Friendships don't matter because they all end.
I don't know if I'm blocking at it or not, but I'm distracted by the fact that there's the PlayStation and Cyberpunk little posters just kind of sitting right here. Sorry.
Relationships eventually turn into breakups. Physical touch is only temporary, but despite that, you still want those, but just can't participate, cannot learn to bother the skills to get them. You completely and utterly withdrew into yourself. You've been stuck into this feeling for so long that the pain becomes numb. Perhaps you externalize your inner pain by drawing your own blood to feel something, selfishly hoping for a calamity that would just end the world, or that you get into an accident that kills you immediately. Something this existential is the reality of the sad girl. It is something that no
It's just depression. Like, come on. Like, it's just depression. That, yeah? That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
nobody wants to go through, but unfortunately in this social climate, a lot of people are all too familiar with to varying degrees. And you see, there are those people who, perhaps in their ego or genuine sympathetic nature, wish to save or fix this person. It is the most human and best reaction to do. However, one has to be careful and to take note. A flailing, drowning man drags and swims past their fellows in order to save themselves. It is not malicious, it is instinct. Saving a flailing, drowning man can sometimes end up with the savior drowned themselves.
Yeah, that is a thing. That is very much a thing. Okay. Alright, Nousagi. Why you gotta hit so hard, man? Come on.
But not me, obviously. I can still save her. This is a bit of a stretch, but there's a subtrope under the sad girl that does not necessarily have all those dark and deep tones, but people somewhat find the same sort of attraction to anyway. That subtrope would be the anxious girl. These are basically people that are extremely shy. And I hear you asking, hey, you stupid dumb rabbit, that's basically a Dandere. No, it's not, you fucking idiot, let me explain. A Dandere is someone like Sawako Koronuma, Miyu Akiyama, and Hinata from Naruto. Pretty shy, but not necessarily socially inept. The anxious girl is someone like Bochi the Rock or Komi from Komi Can't Communicate. These are the girls who you kinda have to force in order to
Komi is boring. I said it. Komi is boring. I'm gonna be attacked.
engage with people, and may be extremely lonely growing up. Oftentimes, there's a smidge of depression and wanting for more in times when they are alone. And oftentimes, they don't even realize that they actually are very depressed or lonely and sad, especially when they taste a bit of what they're missing out on and only then realize that they may be more fucked up in degrees worse than they thought. Of course, they don't necessarily have to be depressed, but they do have to have a sense of longingness for companionship, but is just too socially anxious to pursue it. And people like this trope because some people relate to this type of person, and at the same time, a lot of men like to have a very cute, very socially anxious person because if they could just penetrate the walls of that one girl, then they are in there alone with that person. There is no competition, it's just you, that girl, and nobody else. Some even like it because if they are able to do that, they cement themselves as a core and important figure in this person's life. They made an impact that, in the foreseeable future, cannot be beaten. And what is a greater desire than that? What is humanity's greatest desire for each other than to protect someone and to be fondly remembered by others, whether romantically or platonically? Alright, now let's take a look at the other tropes. The mad woman, unlike the sad girl, is someone whose appeal is based off of her madness. Now, this broad definition opens up a lot of specific subtropes, with the unifying factor being that they are obsessed with something or someone, often in a romantic
I don't get the mad woman. I just don't. No thank you.
way, and are very psychopathic and sociopathic in their means of getting what they want or expressing something. Such means include self-harming, emotional or even physical harassment, blackmail, stalking, and all sorts of not so socially and healthy behaviors that are adjacent to those. Again, this is very broad, and we can already categorize a few key notable subtropes that are very common and popular in Japanese and sometimes even Western media. I call them the yandere, the girl boss, and the weird girl. The yandere is something that most likely don't need that much explaining. It's probably the easiest and most popular subtrope of the mad woman. It is someone that's obsessed and insane. Literally insane for someone, to a point that they could do anything to get them, including, again but not limited to, murdering the competition or anyone that gets in the way of their relationship, even their own family members. And often, they would even kill themselves or the person that they like if they realize that they don't have any more chances with that person no matter what they do. The appeal of the yandere trope is that they are very unhinged and crazy for the people they like. Whether that insanity be subtle or explicit, either way, a few people in the internet like the idea and the fantasy without necessarily wanting to take that sort of relationship IRL. This insanely hot and cute anime girl that's way above your league, insanely crazy for you to a point of being murderous, that's attractive to some people. The fact that someone desires them that badly is a massive appeal to one's ego, or even a nice fantasy to warm up someone's cold, lonely darkness, especially when it's a yandere, someone who doesn't care about your flaws.
Yeah, no.
And insecurities, and is still obsessed with you regardless. The girl boss is different though, because they have some of the traits of the yandere, but imagine if the yandere was a bit more reserved and is able to
Bro, SDEath is just as bad, if not worse. This whole section is just horrible.
control their emotions better. However, romance doesn't have to be involved with the girl boss. The girl boss, unlike the yandere, who brute forces herself.
Kafka is okay. We support Kafka. Damn it, am I being hypocritical? No. Maybe? Yes? No? Come on, it's Kafka! Yes! Damn it.
And is very aggressive in showing off their love, is very subtle. She won't murder anyone in cold blood, she'll assassinate those people, or just get a hitman. They don't scream or threaten you to love them, they convince you that there is no one else in the world other than them that will love them as much as they can. They won't emotionally pressure you, they'll manipulate the circumstances around you to make you do what they want. They are manipulators, but in a different, more implicit way. Always 2 steps ahead of anyone. Someone who has tamed their insanity and psychopathy and manifesting their derangement in intelligent ways. And they are especially dangerous, more dangerous even than the yandere. The yandere might kill you or everyone else around you, but the girl boss can do worse. These days, the girl boss are shown as very powerful and authoritative figures, showing up as a mastermind type of character who shows interest in a particular person, whether that be for their own personal reasons or other ulterior or sinister ones. People like the girl boss because they're often portrayed as smoking hot, confident, intelligent, mature women who can be as crazy as the yandere, but without the explicit traits that may turn people off that the yandere has. People like confident, capable women, especially in this day and age where people like a woman who can
redo of healer. No.
take care of herself and essentially mommy you. Lastly, we now have to go over the cutie. The cutie is... there's a lot of layers to this trope, and that is very hard to explain in words. In fact, I think it's better to show you. Do you get it? I'm sure you do. Basically, the cutie is a trope that
Not
embodies
really.
sick cute aesthetic, an aesthetic that incorporates very cutesy stuff with dark and disturbing themes, putting in elements like bandages, wounds, knives, nooses, eye patches, pills, and the contrast is what
Just not a thing, at least for me. Like, and I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
makes it work. It is what makes it so intriguing. Now, unlike the other tropes that don't even try to be appealing, well, sometimes, the cutie is quite the opposite. They intentionally make themselves look appealing and cute, juxtaposing their dark themes. Some to disturb the viewers, some to intrigue, some to hide their mental illness behind the cuteness, perhaps even a little bit of all three. There's even a cliche where the girls in this subtrope like Hello Kitty, especially Kurumi. Regardless of why they do it, it's working. But to expand on and add my own observation to this trope, I would actually like to include the Jirai K or landmine girl to be part of this because I think, from the name itself, the cutie is a trope that shows off their mental illness with having a cutesy spin. To a certain extent, it even applies to goths and even Lolita culture somewhat because of their similarly strange tendencies in media and their associations. It's a bit more complicated than that, but we're not getting into that in this video. The Jirai K culture is so popular that overseas people actually do like participating in the trend and the fashion style without necessarily understanding the culture behind it. And I don't blame them, because in the eyes of anyone that isn't brain rotted with weeb stuff, mental illness is probably far from the first thought when they see this. But to anybody who is in this culture deep enough, you look at those sets of clothes and this aesthetic and alarm bells are gonna start blaring. Perhaps even your boner getting. In Western cultures, certain parts of this trope could even
Bruh, the Shiori jump scare. Come on now. Oh.
include the whole mascara dripping down the face and people still looking hot and attractive kind of thing. And the cutie aesthetic actually also works in the West. The point of the cutie is that they're a mess who makes the fact that they're a mess appealing, or to hide their mental illness under the cuteness, and for the most part, it works. It is designed to be cute. It's supposed to look like a trap, but while even knowing that it's a trap, a lot of people are probably willing to step into that trap. And the subtrope of the cutie is actually something that a lot of people
I say I'm not, but I'm sure if the right. Damn it. I would fall into this damn trap. Why? I hate myself. Shit.
people might find familiar. The quirky girl are people who are different from other girls, and I mean actually quirky girls, by the way, not those not like other girls crowd that both you and I probably have a bad opinion of. They're people that are just plain weird, or does not have any filter and lets their intrusive thoughts a little too much. Sometimes they just like unconventional things or have unusual hobbies and passions. This is where the goth and the Lolita culture kinda muddies the water a little bit, but often it's because they actually do have mental disorders. Could have ADHD, autism, or actual schizos among many other disorders, and it just leaks out without them intending to do so. Now, do these tropes, all of these tropes, mean that people are romanticizing mental illness when associating themselves with the cutie? Kinda. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, 100%. Like there's no way around. Yes. Yes.
That's why a lot of people pretend they're mentally ill or exaggerate their symptoms or diagnose themselves with all sorts of illnesses, because some people genuinely think that mental illnesses are fashionable, a reason to stand out. It makes them different.
And fuck all of those people.
People like to be unique, to be strange, even if it comes with the cost of downplaying or trivializing how serious or outright life-ruining some of these mental disorders actually are. But because a lot of people like to watch it, it got popular. And if there's a demand, there will be supply. Some people will see how someone can get passionate or fixated over certain things and start yapping and call it autistic or think it's cute and funny. Some people will see schizomenhera breakdowns on the internet and how
Some of it is actual autism. Some of it actually is.
not taking meds is cute and funny. People think that's desirable even, both men and women, some of them at least. But one has to wonder, how did it start being desirable and fashionable? How and why did people start finding menheras and mental illness attractive? You might have heard the phrase, I can fix her, or its more or less known counterpart, I could fix her, but honestly whatever the fuck is wrong with her is way hotter. You see, they're a step, well, more than a step away from the safe and conventional. Vanilla sucks to many people. And look, no shame on the vanilla enjoyers out there, I'm just saying that in this age of desensitization,
There's nothing wrong with vanilla. Thou shalt respect the vanilla. Just say that. I just said that on camera. I'm leaving it. I don't care.
and this rapid chase for thrilling and digital sensations, vanilla is a dying taste. They're never gonna go away, but its followers are gonna get cold in the future because people are now getting exposed to so much extreme stuff at such a young age that they'll seek out more stimulating things. This applies to people's taste in men and women. More and more people out there are gonna start looking for
Oh, Billie Eilish. If only you were as good at singing as you are at songwriting. Damn, I'm just throwing. I'm having a lot of a lot of hot takes here. In all honesty, though, I think Billie Eilish is a fantastic songwriter. Her songs are only good though when it's not her singing them. Though, it's
for the unhinged, the unpredictable, for the strange, the macabre, for the quirky. This is legitimately addictive. And the Menhera becoming an entire genre is quite literally the proof that that's the future we're heading into. And the fact that isn't even the peak of the popularity of this trope is scary. Because in multiple ways, the Menhera is fucked up as a genre. Again, it trivializes too many sensitive
it is. It's fucked up.
topics and plays it up as something else that it's not supposed to. It has its own societal setbacks if it does get more popular. It has other elements that fundamentally disturbs my principles as a YouTuber, if you can believe that. But I still can't help but consume it. I can't help but wish to spread the Menhera gospel to my fellows. It's a guilty pleasure, but to many others, it's not a guilty pleasure. Sometimes, it's all they have. It is inherent in men to care and protect for someone. The more someone needs to be cared and protected, the more this instinct flares up. And what needs to be more cared and protected than a Menhera? Especially when it's fiction. Especially when it's fantasy. See, the fantasy element of the Menhera is what I'd argue is the main reason why this is so popular. There is a disturbing rise of male loneliness these days. Not just in Japan or the US, but everywhere.
Just everywhere. Yeah. The same could be said for women. A lot of women are just as lonely as everyone's lonely. But I feel like there are too many things in place that are designed to keep them lonely.
Shut in, hikikimori, neat, whatever you wanna call it. And many people also see a lot of these Instagram models or femcels tweeting and saying how they hate men or wish that men should be this or that, or have incredibly high standards or whatever. I'm not agreeing with that, but a lot of men have these echo chambers or get into all sorts of rabbit holes. Heck, some of these rabbit holes include stuff like AI chatbots and whatnot to substitute these companionships. And these rabbit holes have them ending up with two sorts of conclusions. Either this is better than the actual women that they see on social media, or that they don't have any other choice. Again, you look at women who are mentally ill as a probably depressed person being cute and having this fantasy that they can be crazy and quirky for everything and most especially for you, and you end up finding that relatable and desirable. Someone who can understand you. Perhaps someone to lick each other's wound with, try to fix each other. Some people even find the Menhera as having more of an interesting personality than a lot of women that they see online do. Some feel as if they don't have any shot with other stable women, so they go for the mentally unstable ones because they're more attainable. In a way, some men essentially think that the Menheras are the low-hanging fruit that they can reach, the only fruit that they can reach. The ones that are taken advantage more easily. And that's not too uncommon these days. The desire to care for someone perverse, the desire for attention and love twisted, the desire to feel taken to the extreme. This is essentially the Menhera. All of these sentiments come from the fascination and intrigue.
Okay, when you put it like that, yeah, that it makes sense, but I can't argue. Like, he's right. Like, what else am I supposed to say to that? He's right.
It's a trope that no longer is even a trope anymore. The culmination of people like Yuno Gasai and Yandere's as a whole, Ame-chan and all other cute mentally ill people. It all led to having the Menhera and its subtropes be more than a trope but an entire genre. To summarize what I'm saying, the reason why there's such a massive supply of Menheras in media is because there's a massive demand for it. By lonely men, by depressed men, that, and there's women who participate in that supply because it looks fucking cute and adorable. But there are actually mentally ill women who find Menheras relatable that do this. And, well, I mean, look at this. The Menhera could be looked at as an attempt of the mentally ill to be confident and beautiful, like the people they aspire to be, either to seek out attention or draw people into their trap, or to genuinely imitate the types of people that they admire. This made needy streamer overload the cultural explosion that it was. Have you any idea what this game did to mentally ill women online, to the Yan core community, and even to some of the pretenders? All I have
Yes, I do, because I watched all of that happen.
to say is that Ame-chan and Kinjil is the Ryan Gosling of mentally ill women. So,
That's such a great. That's crazy. Oh shit. Okay.
for some women, if they can't get anything done in life when they're depressed, they might as well look cute and sexy when they're suffering and crying.
Play Honkai Star Rail. Okay. Oh well, that was an adventure. Okay. I, I don't have anything to add to that. I mean, link is in the description if you enjoyed this video. Hit like and subscribe. I'm sure I'm gonna get roasted for a lot of my very unpopular takes that I had during this, but hey, you know, that's part of the fun. Bring it on, I guess. Anyway, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.